17-9. They are the first Big Ten team ever to win successive Rose Bowl games.
Live from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, this is the Barry Alvarez Show on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
What are your emotions right now? Just like the old days.
Alongside Rose Bowl champions Derek Engler and Tarek Saleh, here's Jesse Nelson.
Barry Alvarez Show, live at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. A victory Monday indeed. Love when the teams across the state get a clean sweep. The Badgers win 42-10 on Saturday afternoon over Middle Tennessee, and the Green Bay Packers dominate the Detroit Lions 27-13 in their opener at Lambeau Field. And just for good measure, the Brewers got a sweep this weekend, too. My Brewers are red hot once again. We're ready to talk about all of it here on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison. Alongside me here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton, my name is Jesse Nelson, by the way. This is the Badgers' all-time sack leader, Tarek Saleh.
Amazing. Still alive.
What, you don't like being introduced that way? Should I never do that again?
You're like looking at me like what do you want me to do? Your reaction?
Yeah. UW Athletic Hall of Famer.
I'm going to make out with you right now. I'm going to make out with
all
you.
his stats.
A lot of us worked real hard to try and get you in that
He's
Hall
the
of
all-time
Fame.
sack leader. Big pause. Like,
you're like, oh, yeah.
hey, here you go, loser.
I'm just distracted by the timing of the food right when the show kicked off.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is amazing.
This is a lot for us to
spread.
all handle here.
Yeah.
He's Derek Engler. Yes, the great spread provided for us here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. They are the absolute best, from the ahi tuna to all the different appetizers that we have here. I see Coach has a burger that looks like it's just wonderful. Coach Barry Alvarez is here, too, by the way. Your name's on the show. We should probably introduce you. Coach, well, you got a delicious spread in front of you there. That looks fantastic.
I'm trying to talk with a mouthful right now.
Well, I'll give you a second then.
No, I'm fine.
Wisconsin wins over Middle Tennessee 42-10, and that's where I want to start the show this week. Plenty to talk about as they get ready to go to Tuscaloosa and take on Alabama. We will get there. I have had many people text me asking to get ready to ask Coach one particular question in this show, and I will ask that in our second segment here. But first, let's talk about the victory. 42-10. Billy Edwards didn't play. It was Danny O'Neal starting at quarterback, and he had a nice day. 23 of 27 passing, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, did throw 1 interception. That's the good. They also won 42-10, which, any game you'd be like, wow, they won 42-10. Wow, nice, clean victory. It was 14-10 at halftime, and people were losing their minds. Say, this isn't what Wisconsin football should look like. What is this? Oh, everyone should be on thin ice right now. This is exactly what we all sat here and said this is what can't happen quarter by quarter, week by week at the start of the season.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, literally, people have some just difficulty remembering some of the non-conference games that Paul Christ went through that were – we were heavy favorites that were a lot closer than in the entire game. Even Brett Bielema, and he had some great teams and championships. And, you go through that. It's a process, especially in these early non-conference games. And the way they came out at halftime, which we struggled last year, right? The second half was, for whatever reason, depth, whatever it might be, we really struggled. And for them to come out and do what they should and to see – 2 rushing touchdowns by receivers on end arounds, to see some of the old style offense that we were accustomed to and have a lot of success with was, to me, very promising.
And Derek, I remember the Utah States, the Arizona States, these other teams where we struggled at the beginning and we win by a field goal. We get a guy at halftime before he goes in the end zone because we hustled against Arizona State. So we've seen this struggle before, and I think with the NIL, the Middle Tennessee States are the beneficiaries of that, getting guys that can play. And then they lost Austin Peay, but Austin Peay played a tough Georgia team, 28-7.
Played them pretty tough.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
maybe Austin Peay's good. Who knew?
We don't know. Everybody's kind of coach, right, trying to get the bearings.
People look at the line and think that's the way the game's going to start. You put 28 on them in the first quarter, or you first 3-4 times you touch the ball, you go rip, 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 right down the field, and it's score. It doesn't happen that way. You don't do that against your scout team. There's mistakes along the way, people feeling things out. They're doing some things too. Those guys are paid. Their coaches are paid. Their guys are coached. They're being told these guys have the scholarship that you wanted. And so they're playing a little extra, put a little extra in to the game, and so it takes a while. It's a 4-quarter thing. It's not going to happen all of a sudden, just hammer somebody. It doesn't happen all the time.
But in the end, if you do care about the line, Wisconsin covered 28.5. They won by 32. The overhit as well, if you're interested in such things.
So you're really happy. That's
great.
great.
I wasn't disappointed about it. I'll say that much. But Wisconsin wins this game fairly convincingly. It's a really good stat line for the quarterback. Running the football, they had a pretty good day. And you guys mentioned the receivers getting involved and what this offense looked like. Started to, after that first half, started to take off a bit. And at its best, and against an opponent that is what it is, you start to get a pretty good feel for what this Jeff Grimes offense looks like it's going to be the rest of the year.
And Mike Tressel's run defense. Another good game. I think they held him to under 35 yards or something in rushing. So I believe there was 5 sacks. So we're getting after the quarterback.
Yep.
What's his face? Allegro's a heck of
linebacker.
Yeah,
linebacker.
Christian Allegro was
2 or 3
fantastic.
TFLs.
Yeah.
He had a big 4th-and-1 stop, right?
That was
It
by
momentum
far the
changer.
turning point of the game.
Yeah.
I had
and
no
he's
idea who that tight end transfer was, and he caught a
Yeah.
tutty. I mean, I don't even know where he came from, like Missouri State or something.
Now we
like
have
that.
2 tight ends, him
Yeah.
and Steck.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mason Rieger, that number 22, he's an active guy, man. He's all over that defensive line there as an edge rusher.
Yeah.
He looks like a little T.J. Watt. I mean, he's about the same size.
That's high praise for you to say that.
Well,
The bottom line is we have played pretty clean through these games.
Yeah.
We're not shooting ourselves in the foot all the time. We're not stopping ourselves. Defense doesn't have major breakdowns or foolish penalties. And they end up, it's a 4-quarter game. People want it to happen in 2 quarters. It's a 4-quarter game. Now you'll find out what type of team we are at a high level. You're playing an Alabama team. It's probably a top 10 team. This is not the old Alabama teams that are the best in the country. This is not the best team in the country. But it's a good team, and it's well coached, and we're playing them on the road. And so we'll find out we'll get a lot of answers of where we kind of fit in this whole scheme, maybe within the Big Ten.
Well, did we not? What was the game? Did we not have a penalty against Miami, Ohio? Or was it this? You got to look that up.
There were, I'll double check.
I think there would be the fewest amount of penalties.
Well,
Miami,
It was
Ohio,
this
there were
past
no
weeking.
penalties. It was this weekend.
Yep,
Thanks,
no
Riley.
penalties.
Riley Elk, our producer, back
third
in the
year in a
studio.
row, we lose our starting quarterback, right? And just like last year, right away at the beginning of the season, thank God this year, we have a transfer backup quarterback that seems to be pretty productive and better than what we've had in the past when our starting quarterbacks have went down. So that insurance, and there's probably a lot of coaches and programs that are looking at that and doing that with NIL and transfer portal.
There are a lot of people looking at that saying, "Wow."
Yeah.
I mean, that was impressive.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. It's 2 years in a row, right? We've lost our starting quarterback and don't seem to miss a beat, and that's impressive for the coaches and the players.
But no penalties in the game. To Coach's point, clean game. I mean,
That's
that's
very clean.
unspeakable.
Yeah.
Like we're always. I mean, last year
You
we're
did 3 yourself.
exactly.
So, I mean, it's kind of the Wisconsin way, the way the coach, enforced things, created things here at Wisconsin is play clean and don't beat yourself. If the opponent's going to beat you, so be it, but don't beat yourself out there. And Wisconsin didn't do that, and by staying with it, they end up pulling away in the second half and dominating the rest of the game.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some, when we start when we have some of these top 12 teams in the country, I think we have 4 of them, our offensive line, there needs to be some progression, and there's going to need to be some leadership. They might have to protect, schematically a couple guys. It is not the offensive lines of years past. I like the attitude that Coach Grimes is giving these guys up front too, because they're able to tee off and hit some guys in the mouth, and that's how an offensive line can gel, especially going into the fourth quarter. If that progression is there, we're going to be affordable, balanced offense, and you have that defense which is much improved.
And I think I agree with you on the defense, but the critical point here is, and I think in every game, you can't have your defense on the field the whole time. So if this defense, at least you give them a balanced amount of time where they're not on the field the whole time, they could be a very good defense against anybody in the country. As long as they're not on the field the whole time, that's why we need that run game to take up some of that clock.
And I think that's the one thing that stood out was they did have a tough time getting the running game going early against Middle Tennessee. I thought maybe that was intentional. They wanted to give Danny O'Neal some confidence going into Alabama next week and not have it when, there's already a 21-point cushion. I don't know if that's a correct assessment of how that played out or not, but regardless, they didn't run the football super effectively in the first half.
I'm sure that didn't go through the coach's head. We're not going to do things well to build a confidence for our quarterback.
Well, right. Yeah, I should clarify, Coach. I'm not saying they ran the ball intentionally. I'm saying I think they came out knowing they wanted to emphasize throwing the ball more early on because that's when the game was still close.
But you got a new center. You got a new left tackle. These guys are a little nervous. A lot of stuff going on. And, it was great to have this game. And I think, you saw some of the snaps that were errant. I think that's a part of the nerves.
So is the center down? Do we know any injury
Jake
updates?
Renfro, I think, is down. Well, he's down as of last game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about is the quarterback coming back, or are they going to keep? I know it's a black box when it comes to injuries in college football.
Yeah.
So
those are the remaining. So for some insight on that, Riley Auk, our producer back in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison, was at Coach Fickle's media availability earlier today. So let's bring in Riley. He has some insights on that. Riley, what did Coach say earlier today?
Yes, unfortunately, my insights are that I have no insights. Luke Fickle said that Jake Renfro and Billy Edwards are day-to-day right now. Billy Edwards is throwing the ball more, and he's coming in every day getting treatment, but he wouldn't commit either way. It sounds like Billy Edwards is not going to play. Same
Riley, you're not just a slouch; you're a tremendous slouch. Thanks for nothing.
You're welcome. Hey,
where's the bell?
He's in charge of the bell.
Day to day, and we have no further answers than we did 90 seconds ago.
You're not going to give a scouting report. Who should we?
I got nothing.
Down there at Alabama?
I got nothing for you.
Well, this is who you prepare for. Yeah, we'll give you that.
It's tough though. You can't even find a depth chart anywhere. Went from the players that are playing. So I had to rewatch the game to really look at the names on the back of the jersey to know who was. Mandel. Okay, there's our right tackle.
Is there a? And I'll ask you, anybody here. Do you think there's a potential quarterback controversy if Billy Edwards is healthy?
Oh gosh, I hadn't even thought about it that way.
I think if Danny plays well against Alabama, there is hands down there'll be one.
That's where I think it comes into play. Yeah, if he plays well against either Alabama or I don't know how long Billy's going to be out. Like if Michigan or Ohio State come into play and Danny O'Neal plays tremendously well, leads the team to a victory in one of those games, like then you start to say, okay, this, let's just ride with this guy as opposed to Billy coming back in. But I don't know, Coach, have you been in a situation like this?
There are no guarantees. If he comes in and can beat one or two of these teams and lead your team and do a great job, he's your quarterback. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
Win the games, and
it's not rocket science.
Danny O'Neal has a tremendous opportunity this Saturday in Tuscaloosa agained Alabama.
Oh, and I watched one play with Danny O'Neal where we got a big snap and they weren't able to hand the ball off, so he had to make things up, and he ran and he stuck his nose in there, and I thought he was going to be out, and then now we're down to our third, but the guy hung in there, got up, get back to the huddle. I have a lot of appreciation for what he was able to do on Saturday. It's pretty cool.
Wisconsin beats Middle Tennessee 42-10 at Camp
But I don't
Randall
like quarterbacks.
Stadium. Yeah, that's been well documented. Yes.
You know what? what Tarek said, not only for defensive players who aren't associated per se with the quarterback, but the offensive line and everyone else. If they see a quarterback that is willing to stick it in there and throw his body in there for a first down or for the benefit of the team, that builds tremendous confidence with those guys, with the rest of the team towards that quarterback.
Coach is 100%. We had one in Mike Samuel, and not a very good passer, but a great leader. A field general in the huddle. But then what really would get the big uglies up front fired up is when you saw him taking LeVar Arrington and Brandon Short both out of the game on a play. Those are two great NFL players, and he'd get up and his chin strap would be across his face. Sammy, you're right. Yeah, let's go. If that doesn't get you juiced up, get off the field. No question.
I love that guy.
I sat with LeVar Arrington that year in the off season it was an All-American dinner. And he said, Coach, he's no Pittsburgh guy. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. So we were having fun about that. But he said, I have never played any place or against anyone where a quarterback knocks me out of the game.
LeVar Arrington.
One of the best.
The irony is that Samuel's from Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's Philly fighter, man.
So there's a Pennsylvania rivalry right there for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So Wisconsin beats Middle Tennessee 42-10, which means we now get to turn the page. And one of the big ones circled on the schedule for this season is coming up on Saturday. Wisconsin and Alabama. We will talk about it next on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
Don't touch that cocktail.
I'd love to coach a game like that.
Oh, man.
They may not see a pass in the second half. I'd run that clock. That game would be over. We'd be home having cocktails at 3:30.
Coach will be back after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Bruner Realty and ESPN Madison have teamed up again for the 5th annual Putts for Pups golf outing benefiting the Dane County Humane Society. Join us for a day of golf at Blackhawk Country Club on September 19th. Since it started in 2021, Putts for Pups has raised over $120,000 for the Dane County Humane Society. Donate or find out how you can get involved at putsforpups.com. Putts for Pups is proudly sponsored by Badgerland Exteriors, Alts Operations, Zimbrick Automotive, and Vortex Optics.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Former basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal is DJ Diesel, and he's coming to the Sylvie on Friday, September 19th. Catch Shaq and his Base All-Stars live. Tickets on sale now at Sylvie.com. Don't miss your chance to see Shaq, DJ Diesel live in Madison on September 19th.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
With my Dixieland delight, spend my dollar, park in a holler, neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little loving, a little turtle doving on a Mason-Dixon night. It's my life, oh so right, my Dixieland delight.
Wisconsin, Alabama in Tuscaloosa on Saturday afternoon. 11 o'clock kickoff on ABC and the ESPN app. Let's talk about it. It's the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Jesse Nelson with Rose Bowl champions Tarek Saleh, Derek Engler, and the legendary Wisconsin head coach and director of athletics, Barry Alvarez. Wisconsin and Alabama meet in Tuscaloosa. Of course, it comes on the heels of last year's meeting at Camp Randall Stadium, which did not go Wisconsin's way.
It's terrible.
Tyler Van Dyke got hurt on the opening drive when Wisconsin had the football, and it never looked the same after that. Alabama ended up pulling away.
They marched down the field right before the half, like 70 yards.
They did, yeah. It was
20 seconds or
It was
something?
14-3, and you were like, oh, they might have a chance
okay.
here. And then Alabama got the ball back, went down in a couple of plays, 21-3 ball game from that point on. So a little bit of a revenge opportunity here for Wisconsin if they can go to Tuscaloosa, early kickoff, try to win at their place. Derek, I guess your opening thoughts on this monumental matchup for Wisconsin and Alabama here this weekend.
Well, I mean, it's obviously going to be their toughest test, so far in the season. Especially that's a tough environment to play. Any of the SEC stadiums, for the most part, are their fans. I mean, they're like the Big Ten and passionate about their football, and they want to make it intimidating and imposing, for the opponents coming into their house. And so right there, you have that, challenge that you're facing. And it's Bama. They got 3 deep on the D line. They always do every year. They are not the Alabama of years past. They're just not. I watched their opening game, and they struggled, especially up front. And that's where I have some hope. So I'm really intrigued to see what our offensive line does and what Coach Grimes does with the offensive game plan. I think defensively we might create some problems for them. I really do.
I agree, and I think 11 a.m. game is much better than 8 o'clock in that place. It's, anytime you go to SEC and you're
At
there
night.
in Death Valley or Tuscaloosa at night, it's just a different
Baton
animal.
Rouge, yeah.
So I think that's in our side, and then I thought their offensive line was kind of soft and puffy. They weren't like and looking at that Florida State game, they weren't playing as hard, and we saw a lot of loafing. Now they had a big win last week. Hopefully they're patting themselves on the back. And we come in there and we just get after them. So
73-0 they beat Louisiana Monroe on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa.
Well,
So
you'll have those too.
That was their bounce back.
That's not even a Thursday practice. You might as well not even show up. They got nothing out of that game.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to watch us play on the road. I've never played there. I don't know. I'm sure the Southeast Conference environment, it's going to be tough. But I'm really confident that we'll play them well. I am. I feel really good about us going in there and playing a good football game.
I was shocked. Coach and I were talking about it because I didn't know. I had heard that the line was a lot bigger than what anticipated, and we looked, and it was 20.5.
Yep. So
I would have never guessed that.
Let me bring that up here because I got multiple texts. Because, Coach, what you said last week about Alabama,
like 10 maybe?
Some people
7?
noticed that you thought Wisconsin would have a pretty good chance to go into Alabama and get a win, and you're doubling down on here, which I love. But the questions that were asked of me to ask you, they said, "Oh, are you going to ask Coach about what that line is?" Because yes,
you can ask me.
On ESPN Bet, Wisconsin has opened as a 20.5-point underdog for this weekend.
Those that are asking, that's what the bookies see. That's not what I happen to see. Yet it doesn't make any difference what either one of us see. You got to go play. I have confidence that our guys will go compete with them and compete well. And so, we'll find out.
And as Coach always did, when Tarek and I were players for him and with all the rest of his players who know this, he always looked for an edge. And you can start right there where you're that big a dog. That is disrespect all over the place, especially where, they didn't look good against Florida State. And Florida State, I believe, was underdogs.
Florida State was a home underdog to Alabama, big time, yeah.
Big time. So, that's some bulletin board material, or at least get the guys fired up a little bit in the locker room and go prove yourselves. Now, this is where we're stepping on the SEC stage, and they got a lot of pride, and not only at Wisconsin but in the Big Ten, and these are the two conferences left.
Coach, you said you've seen some things that give you some confidence for Wisconsin going to Alabama. What are those things you see?
I think we're really solid on defense. I think you've got to work hard to score on us. Our guys are sound. You got to make plays. We're not going to give you anything. I like that. And offensively, I think we can, we can do a lot of things. And so, this is not going to be some patsy that rolls into Tuscaloosa and rolls over for them. Mm-hmm. Our guys will show up and play. I know they'll be ready, and I'm really, really anxious to watch us play.
I love what they put on tape in that second half, too, offensively, because you got to prepare for that this week.
A lot of versatility.
Two rushing touchdowns by receivers, end around. I really like that and did some good things. Yeah. But again, just because it's my former position, I'm going to be really focused in on the guys up front, our offensive line, how we handle that defensive front, and what is going to be our determination to stick to the run, because you can get away from it if things go south. There's TFL, this, that. You don't want to be throwing the ball around the lot down there. You got to have the balance.
And looking back at that Middle Tennessee game, with the NIL, there's opportunities for all these schools to get kids. And, I looked at those 2 D tackles from Middle Tennessee State. Yeah. They were 320 pounds.
Yeah.
And they were juiced up, and they were coming off the ball. They didn't look slow, and we were competing with that. So that's what we're going to get against Alabama, are those types of 300-pound studs. And I think we've seen some of that. So hopefully that they're ready for it.
When you guys talk about gaining a competitive advantage and trying to find that edge going into a road environment at an SEC school, Coach, where do you start when you're talking with your team throughout the week about what that competitive advantage may be?
You find it, whatever it is. You find it.
You make it up.
You may have to lift up the rug. You may have to look around the corner. You find out. You figure something out where you have an advantage. I'm looking at Alabama. And my whole thing was you're not playing Joe Namath, and you're not playing all those great Alabama teams in the past. You're not playing the national champions and all that. You're playing the cats that show up, the guys you're watching on film. That's who you're playing. So don't make this bigger than what it is. It's a good team. You have to respect them. You're playing on the road. It's a hostile environment. That's okay. We're going to do that all year. But don't make this bigger than what it is. Don't make them better than who they are. You watch films, you can evaluate who they are, what you have to do to compete against them.
God, I felt like I just got a pep talk from Barry Alvarez. That was so cool.
Yeah, you take a little bit of the media. You could take that, sprinkle it on top of what Coach said, and he's going to find Coach Alvarez is going to find the edge, and I'm sure Luke's going to be able to position some things too. So there's plenty of things to position it so you get that edge, but
and this is what's interesting about this too is just in this era of teams turning over. With transfer portal, is who these guys are collectively as a team. How strong are their bonds, their relationships? Because on the road in a hostile environment, that's where you can really rally as a team. And it's us against the world. Tarek and I have been on Coach Alvarez's teams that did that, whether it be the Big House, so on and so forth. Penn State, ending the longest winning streak in the country that year, and thanks to Tarek, he was rallying up, tallying up his sacks. So he was, just check.
Thanks, Derek.
But
all-time sack.
That is
Tarek Saleh.
Now Jesse respects me. Finally,
UW Athletic Hall of Famer.
That's what I want to see. I want to see how these guys, react in that environment together and how they pull together as a team.
The thing you have to do as a head coach is make sure your team isn't beat before they show up. Yeah. They can't read the clippings and know that this with the game that these guys are talking about at Penn State, I forget how many home wins in a row that they had.
They had the longest winning. I think it was 20
plus
22,
might have been
5,
it was in the
like
20s. That's 5 years, and since they've lost the game at home and we're big underdogs, you have to make your people believe that they can win and go play. And it's not about what anybody else thinks. It's about how you play and go in and find an edge. I'd find something that I tell them that they have an advantage here. Whatever it would be, I may have to create it. But
I can tell you just firsthand, from that game at Happy Valley, it was 1995. Coach had the whole logistics down from, we had to fly into Harrisburg, and then we had to drive an hour, and you go in there in a motel, and you have 2 hours uphill.
All of Tarek's derelict friends show up from the East Coast.
He's like, and he goes, listen, we're going to be in a motel where there'll be cars driving around, and we bet they were there, and they were screaming and yelling during the middle of the night. And then I'm just staring out the window, going, just dropping every F-bomb I could throw out there. But I couldn't sleep, and then he talked about the stadium and all the stuff that's going to go on, and then he had the newspaper clippings and all the stuff they said about us, and he said, hey, listen, you don't believe what I'm going to tell them, because he just kind of gave them, how great of a legend Joe Pa was and all that. He stroked them like nobody's business, but he told us, he said, I'm going to do that. But you understand, here's how we're going to beat them. But
the scouting report, didn't we start off the week with a hard hat, a lunch pail box, and a pickaxe? That walked in? I believe so. That's how we started the week with our scouting report. And this is how we're going to start the week and how we're going to enter this game, the philosophy of we're going to work. And this is a lunch pail type crowd, too. So, I think, and Jesse, if you've never been there, in my opinion, Coach and Tarek might disagree, but I think it's the toughest place in the Big Ten to play. Now, the new teams at Oregon stuff, I'm just talking about traditional Big Ten teams.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah,
that's pretty tough.
But, it is.
And first of all, you have to stay an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
There may be something that you can stay in town now if you can get it. But
it was a bus ride.
You've got a bus ride a couple hours before, or an hour and a half before you get there, and the environment, it's an old, erector set stadium. It's not a brick and mortar stadium, and so it's really loud.
Yeah,
and it's 105, 107,000, and they're cranked. They're always cranked, and they're going to catcall you all the way in. You're coming through, going back to your locker room. They're going to try to abuse you and intimidate you. So you got to prepare your team for all that.
Yeah.
What? Remember the lights went out, the power went out before the game, and it was the greatest thing in the world because it just galvanized us, and it was us against the world.
That's right.
And
That's
brought the fire out. It was awesome. Not that we needed the fire, but it's a little extra fire on the pile.
And I am really excited to see how this team plays together in a challenging environment, against a good SEC football team. They're not world beaters, but that's really what I want to see, how this team reacts.
And just like last year, this won't be the only opportunity this team has to get a nice signature win and really propel momentum for the program
They'll
forward.
have more.
But it would be a great opportunity. So hypothetically, guys, just real quick before we move on from looking ahead to this Alabama game, what play this game with me, if you will. What happens if Wisconsin goes down to Tuscaloosa and performs really well this weekend and does come away with an upset victory, and suddenly the nation takes note of where we are as a program as 20.5-point dogs going and winning a true road game?
I don't think that's fair to even talk about that. It really that's not, that doesn't make sense to talk about if we go down and win. Mm-hmm. Let's go down and play well and see what happens. And we're playing a hell of a team on the road. Let's go down and play well, make it a 4-quarter game, and see what happens. Let's be in that game in the fourth quarter and see if let's walk out of there with a win.
What's our execution going to look like versus a tougher opponent? Can we put pressure on the quarterback? Can we be good against the run defensively? Can we move the chains and sustain a drive offensively? And see where we're at and evaluate it in film room next day.
That's an offensive guy talking. And Tarek, what would you say?
I didn't make it after the quarterback.
Can we stop the run and put pressure on the quarterback? And can our guys run with their receivers? They got number 2 is the ball. If we could contain him, double him up, and just play good, sound football and play 4 quarters. Coach, deal with adversity. That the pendulum swings away, meaning we have a turnover or we give up a big score. Are we going to hang in there and just fight? And so all these metrics, all the things we're talking about, Coach, right?
Yeah.
That's how we're going to measure ourselves, and we're building to have a successful season, and these types of things will get us there.
Yeah, you're going to have adversity. This is one of my talks to the players. We're going to turn it over. We're going to have a fumble. We don't want to,
right?
But there's going to be something happen during the game that goes against us. How do you react to that? Do you go out there with your tail between your legs as they have 100 and some thousand people going crazy, or you going out there with your neck bowed? How do you respond to that? Can you answer it? And so you try to prepare your team for that. So when it happens, your guys are saying, "Oh, we can't go out here moping. We got to come out here with the determination to flip it again."
4 quarters. Like last week, we played 2.5 maybe. We got to play 4. And whatever that is, whatever that means, we got to play 4 quarters. So,
and even they go down there, they're competitive. It's a good game. They might lose it. Who cares? You got Maryland coming home game at Michigan and Iowa, which are crucial because October is Murderer's Row. And we'll see where we're at. But you really. You got to be ready, and I don't like to look out too far, but that's the honest truth to that, where you can't let a loss at Alabama just derail the season.
Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about how deep our league is.
Yeah.
I just looked at that today. Our league is
ridiculous.
Deep. And it used to be, you have a couple teams that you knew you were going to beat. No mas.
No, you got the Illinois and Indiana.
They're all solid teams now. They're good football teams, solid football teams that you've got to be ready to play. You can't lay everything on the line and be flat the next week, or you're in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more on that on the other side of this commercial break. Plus, our producer Riley is going to the game in Tuscaloosa this week, so I want to hear some advice you guys may have for him as he heads down there this week.
Does Riley have a girlfriend?
You'll have to ask him on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. It's the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
The Barry Alvarez Show continues after this on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations, and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
GNC knows that you're not always feeling it at the gym, but don't get down, get lit, and get more out of every workout. Beyond Raw Lit is a clinically dosed pre-workout that flips the switch and gives you more energy, focus, intensity, and pumps. The perfect combo for a killer workout. Plus, it's got incredible flavors and thousands of 5-star reviews, so you know it's good. Pick it up at GNC stores or go to gnc.com.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships. Still going. Lowers his shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Wanakee.
The most compelling stories.
Where are you going to be playing basketball next year?
I'm proud and excited to announce that I'll be going to the University of Charleston.
We are now joined by the Executive Director of the WIAA, Stephanie Hauser.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back September 9th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Texas Rangers.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in September 9th at 7:05 on WISC TV in Madison, or check your local listings to watch the game.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Wisconsin, Alabama, Saturday afternoon in Tuscaloosa. We're counting it down to kickoff here on the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison. Jesse Nelson, Rose Bowl champions Tarek Saleh, Derek Engler, and the former Wisconsin Badgers head coach and director of athletics, easy for me to say, Barry Alvarez, with us at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. Come on out, the Sizzle, Swizzle, and Swirl Happy Hour every weekday. Check it out. It's fantastic. Some of the best deals in the Madison area here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. And we're here every Monday for the next month as we continue to react and look ahead to each game of the Wisconsin football season. Before we talk a little bit more about Alabama, I do want to give you guys the floor here. So the UW Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, class of 2025, was introduced over the weekend. And there were a number of notable names: Frank Kaminsky, James White, a number of very worthwhile nominees and inductees into that class. One stood out to me, and I think to many of you as well, and that's the voice of the Badgers, Matt LePay. We joke on Wildy and Tausch in the mornings. He's my fake dad. Call him Dad sometimes. Ask him if he needs some help cleaning the gutters, and he's played along with that. I don't know why for so many years, but really one of the great humans that I've been able to get to know in this business. And Coach, I know you've gotten to know Matt very well over the years. What do you want to say about Matt LePay?
I think Matt came in about the same time I did.
Yeah.
And
shortly after.
But first of all, he does – you can go around the country. He's been offered jobs around the country for a number of different sports, pro and college. He likes it, loves it here. His wife loves it here. We have been very fortunate to keep Matt. There is no other voice of play-by-play guy than Matt LePay, and we are so fortunate to have him here, and particularly for the length of time that we've had him here. But he's the best, and no one deserves that honor more than him.
100%. It was great to hear him and accept that award because he's the consummate professional. He just is. Even to your point, Jesse, he's a great human being. Like he always kept in touch with players, and alumni, and come back and take his time to talk and have, memories that were created while he was calling the Badgers, and it was really important to him. To Coach's point, I mean, he had all these other opportunities. There's a reason he stayed here.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, and I just go back over all the years, being able to watch practice with him and get his feedback. And he's very, he's very composed. He gives you honest feedback, and he's just an awesome person. To Derek's point, our NFL alumni golf outing every year in July, he comes and he does the introductions. He doesn't ask for anything. He's just, a very generous human being. I know his passion is with Alzheimer's, and what he's done for that cause is phenomenal. He's a great human being. He's a great football guy. He's a great sports guy. Obviously, he's done baseball. He's He's one of the best in the business, and it was emotional watching him get that induction.
Yeah.
Just because he means so much to who we are and our legacy. He's the story. He tells your story is preserved through his voice.
Very well said, Tarek. Matt would be very proud of that.
Well,
it was the truth. That was written down in the parking lot, rehearsed 5 times.
Tarek's been working on that one.
He came off the cuff with that. I don't care what anybody said off the cuff. But it was.
You end the show great.
It was heartfelt.
Distracted
and
all
honest.
show on his
nice
phone.
Job,
then he just closes the door.
We get more
let's
tab.
go back to Matt
more
LePay.
leeway in our tab right now.
No, enough of Tarek. Let's go back to Matt LePay.
Oh, that's good.
Matt, you know what? We take him for granted. I think all of us take him for granted, and he is so good. And for all the sports that he covers, and we've had him for so long now. And again, he's had everybody tries to hire him, but he loves it here, and he's loyal. But he's as good as there is, and we're so
spoiled.
Fortunate. Yeah. So
Badger
fortunate
Nation
to
fans
have
are
him.
spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, Matt LePay, inducted into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2025. All right, one more note to end the show on. Our producer, Riley Yauk, is going to this week's Alabama-Wisconsin game in Tuscaloosa, road tripping with a couple of friends here from the Madison area down there. Riley, any questions you want to ask of this panel as you get set to make your road trip this week?
All right, Barry, I know you said you didn't play ever at Alabama, but have any of you three been to Tuscaloosa for a game day before?
No, not for a game day. I spoke at a clinic there. A couple clinics there over the years. Never been there on game day, so I can't give you an answer. You know what's interesting? My wife Cindy was asking me the same questions because she's going. She's going with some friends, and so she's asking the same questions.
So you're doing a road trip, Riley?
Yep. Thursday night we're leaving. We're heading down, taking the 11-hour drive.
Who's we?
Me and 4 of my friends. It's going to be awesome.
Now, do you know where the Greek system hangs out down there?
Have you researched this? Do you have a plan?
Not the frat boys, the sorority girls.
Not a ton. No, I don't. I'm not sure where Greek Row is down in Tuscaloosa. But I did do a little scouting over the summer. I went and visited, walked around Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's a nice place. It's cool that they have like national championships to celebrate. But I did see some of the Greek houses right by the stadium, so there's potential there. We'll see.
Dude, Riley, you got to listen. Embrace the Wisconsin accent. It's kind of like when the British guy comes here, he picks up all the chicks. You going down there, it'll be very different.
You betcha.
That's the only thing you got going for
yourself.
yourself.
Oh, you betcha.
Oh, you
there you go. No, I like it. Oh, they'll be like, oh, he's so cute.
Let me squeeze right by you.
Man.
All right. I'll keep that in mind. That will be priority number 1, emphasize the Wisconsin accent.
I learned Riz.
Cindy's going down with some friends, and they were calling trying to get reservations, and they said, Cindy, we can't get any reservations. They won't take our calls. They won't answer anything. So she picked up the phone, called Terry Saban, Nick's wife, who she knew. And
that'll get a res.
Within a half an hour, she had reservations. Had a choice of about 3 or 4 different.
Great.
So there you go, Riley. Just tell them that Nick Saban's wife sent you over wherever you want to get in there when you're down.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Good luck, Riley.
Thank you.
The part of this conversation as we close on this, yes, we're looking forward to this game on Saturday afternoon. We don't know how it's going to go. We really, we have a good feeling that Wisconsin's going to go down there and be competitive. But really, we should always remember that this is a really special home and home that we've had now with Alabama, with them coming here last year in the game day atmosphere it was in Madison, and now returning the favor and going to Tuscaloosa. This is a special thing for college football.
Yeah, you want our people that go there, and even those of us are going to. I'm going to stay home and watch it, just to see the atmosphere that they present, and our players enjoy it. Our players play in front of big. They're not going to be any. That's not going to be any different than playing at Ohio State, or playing at Michigan, or playing at Iowa. Iowa, and I would think you guys would agree with me. Michigan is 106,000, but the stadium lays back. Ohio State, it's okay.
They're missing a piece of it.
I'm talking about the noise.
Yeah.
You go to the University of Iowa with half the people, but the crowd is – they can touch. They can actually hit – the guys on the bench in the head.
I mean, you guys,
and they're going to be in your ear. The guy, the stands, and it's loud because it's up. The stadium is built up.
And you probably scheduled this game, but I think it is probably the greatest college football, other than playing in the Rose Bowl experience. As a fan, that I was up in Green Bay at Lambeau against LSU. And they traveled, I think, 40,000. It was electric, loud, exciting, fun, and we whooped their ass.
One thing to be prepared for, I knew a bunch of guys were going down there, and they had a map of the tailgating that's going on. So they sell these plots of land. I mean, it's like rows and rows and rows of tailgate.
They're going to cash in on.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah. We're organic. When we just go to bars or we go to like parking lots that we just park at. Well, they park somewhere else. They have like camps. It's an encampment of tailgating.
They bring live music in.
I don't know what they do, but everybody has their spots, and they get all their stuff going. I've been to the world's biggest cocktail party
in Jacksonville.
They bring their own urinals. You could bring your own urinal in the deal.
I'll tell Cindy that.
Amen.
I'll relate that to her. I'm glad she'll be glad to hear that.
For those over 50, it's very important to have a urinal.
All right, there's your key, Riley. Bring your own urinal.
You got Riley beat up.
Bring your own urinal.
Riley's going to drop Nick Saban's wife's
Or do you have like a small
transportable
urinal you take places?
No, but you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no what? You don't go to the bathroom?
Wisconsin, Alabama, 11 a.m. kickoff in Tuscaloosa.
We've lost control.
Looking forward to the game. Looking forward to talking about it with you next week. Thanks so much for joining us. For Coach Barry Alvarez, Tarek Saleh, Derek Engler, I'm Jesse Nelson. This has been the Barry Alvarez Show on ESPN Madison.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And